Okay, I'm gonna take you behind the scenes. If I had this conversation with myself 10 years ago, this is exactly what I would tell me. One, having no plan. Before I went through a depression, I literally just used to travel for the sake of traveling. And while that was fun for a while, I was traveling, I was seeing countries, I was meeting people, but I literally had no purpose behind it. And eventually I got to the point where I didn't understand how it was all going to make sense in the bigger picture, which then led me to feel empty and feel like there was no purpose in my travel anymore. And so in this process of trying to find a reason to travel, I realized that every single country has different things to offer, and literally thinking about how I could use these things in each country as blocks that you can add on top of your life to be able to do something or attain a certain goal that you have is what made everything else have purpose. It felt like now all of them were connected in some way, so that I had an idea, I had a goal or something that I wanted to accomplish, and then now it was about finding the country that offered this idea to be able to accomplish the goal. Having something I call a global life plan is definitely something that allowed me to keep on going without running away from my reality and just traveling for the sake of it, and more as a means to an end. Number two is developing hybrid skills. Now, what on earth is hybrid skills, you would ask? Let me tell you, there's two components for a hybrid skill. One is the online skills, and the other one I call the offline skills, which means pretty much like uploading yourself to the cloud, and the other one is downloading yourself from the cloud. As weird as it sounds, this is literally something that we can think about as travelers or digital nomads or remote entrepreneurs, because we are constantly working and we're constantly using the internet to be able to generate money, to be able to work, to be able to get clients. And we tend to forget the other side, which is more of like, how do we get to disconnect? How do we get to download or disconnect ourselves from the internet, from the cloud, so that way we can actually immerse ourselves in the country? For me, it was a little different. It was not really starting with the online side of things, but actually the offline side, because I was traveling as a tourist or as a backpacker, which meant I had no online work, I had no remote job. So I was literally just focusing on the physical aspect of it, like the cultural immersion, like how to connect, how to learn the language, how to meet the people and stuff like this. But I didn't have the income or the digital side that allowed me to keep on going in every single country. And so literally what I was doing is finding a new excuse to go to the country, which meant maybe studying or maybe visiting a friend or maybe working in the country. But it was not something where I was doing the exact same thing in every single country. And years later, now when I think about it from the other side, which is, oh, so I managed to do this downloading side of things, but uploading myself or generating a online income and stuff like that was difficult in the beginning. And now I feel like I grasped both of these things, but it's really common. I really see it out there where people get to make money online. They have an e-commerce or Shopify store, or they do coaching or whatever it is, they manage to make money online, but then they literally just get stuck in the cloud. And again, I know I'm using these weird terms, but hopefully it allows me to bring the point home. And it is simply really hard to then download yourself and disconnect yourself and even burst from that bubble where you're just working online remotely all day from Bali and actually speak with the people, learn about the culture, the language, like truly immerse into this country. Number three would be spending too much money. I probably don't have to talk a lot about this point since we all have done it, but I definitely think it's important to take into account that if we are traveling constantly, we're moving constantly, we're changing place to place and eating outside and doing a lot of the cool things that you could be doing as a nomad, we literally get to spend more money. And in the end of the month, what happens is we probably make $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000, but we also spend $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. So all in all, even if we make this kind of money, we end up with $0 by the end of the month. If I could go back to my old self, I would literally just say, hey, stop spending money on dumb shit and literally just invest in yourself, develop, learn to earn more money, acquire different skills, and be patient and stay in one place for now while you actually get this stability, so that way you can generate more money in the long run. Okay, so number four would be working too little. I got accepted. I've been a victim of this, and I'm gonna say a victim because I know it's really hard, but while I was living in the Republic of Georgia, I was literally experiencing this every single day. And that's because I was going to a cafe or I was trying out different places so I could sit and work. But getting to midday, a friend would text me or somebody would come over, and then I would get distracted. And then they would say, let's go get a beer. And then a beer becomes 2 beers, and then 2 beers becomes 5. And next thing you know, you already wasted half the day because you were just hanging out or chilling instead of actually working. And that leads me to point number 5, which is traveling too much. A few years ago, I visited Morocco for 5 days. Now, actually, when people ask me if I've been to Morocco before, I say no. And that's because I was there for a very short period of time. And instead of staying in the country, I literally went to the next one and the next one and the next one. And that did not allow me to literally focus, to work on one thing, to understand one place. And changing environment every single time meant that I had to use my energy just trying to readapt to the new place or meet new people or see where I was going to live. It was just wasting all this energy and focus in these things because I was moving constantly instead of just focusing on work. Nowadays, I enjoy slow travel more than ever, and that's because I get to focus and I also get to understand the country better. I even came up with a concept that hopefully can help you as well. I call that travel dimensions. When you're traveling, I want you to think about 3 things. And the easiest way to remember this is by this acronym travel LSD, okay? So the length of your travel, the speed of your travel, and the distance of your travel. So that means you could travel for a short period of time or you could travel for a long period of time. You can travel fast or you can travel slow, and or you could travel somewhere close or somewhere really far away from home. Number 6 would be relying on internet too much. As remote workers or digital nomads, we literally spend all day in our laptops connected to Wi-Fi and doing things on the internet, which is good because it allows us to be anywhere or just work from anywhere in the world. But there's also a dangerous side of it because whenever Wi-Fi goes down, we go crazy. That means we can't generate money. That means we can't work. We get stressed. We get freaked out. And so after experiencing this again and again and again and again, maybe staying in hostels, the Wi-Fi was going down. Staying in Airbnb as the Wi-Fi was going down. Even the places I rented, the Wi-Fi was going down. And that led me to start thinking, how can I stop relying on internet so much and do certain tasks that I can pursue, whether it is with my phone and maybe phone calls, or maybe just literally offline. Like how can I actually meet people and network and do things physically in person, which will still allow me to grow on work and make money, even if I don't have internet. Numero 7 would be neglecting the power of routine. As travelers and nomads, it's so easy to fall for doing different things every single day, trying different food and meeting different people, but we forget that great things are built on repetition. Moving to all these places, every single place I went to was different, which meant it was hard to start a new routine. I never really got to read. I never really got to meditate. And as you do this, it's almost like you're kind of fighting against your own success because you're getting distracted with other things. So think about how can you have routine every single day in your life, even if you're going to a different country. That being said, being methodical about your travel and the way you travel does not make you boring or it makes it less of an experience. It actually adds up to it because you're able to maximize your opportunities.